In this video, we are going to have another look at the clone stamp tool and the clone source panel. I covered this in one of the previous videos, but because this video is really long, I feel that lots of people might have missed this part. And because I think that this is extremely useful and extremely important, I thought I would do another video where I just talk you through all the advanced features of the clone stamp tool on its own. So first of all, I'm going to go to Window and bring up the clone source panel like this. I will then zoom in, and then to bring up the clone stamp tool, I'm going to press S on the keyboard. And then for all the cloning, I'm going to create a new layer. So I'm going to press Command Shift N. So this way, all my editing is non-destructive and I have the background layer to go back to if I need to. Okay, so we know that to clone from one area to another, we option click, and then to take a sample, and then we take it to the area that we want to clone. Now, because we are working on a new layer, also make sure to select current and below like this. So we option click, and then we clone an area like this. If I zoom in a little bit more, I can change the brush size by using the bracket keys like this. You can also adjust the hardness of the brush by pressing and holding the Shift key with the bracket keys. So this will be a soft brush, this will be a harder brush. And you can also press and hold the Control and the Option keys like this, hold, and then change the size by going left, right, and change hardness by going up and down. So I want my brush to be a little bit soft like this, and I want to make it a little bit smaller. Like this. Now, if you look at an area like this, this could appear like it's a little bit more difficult to clone around this tower. And this is where the clone source panel can actually help us, because what it allows us to do is to flip our samples. So for example, if we click on this icon, this flips horizontally. So we can take a sample from this side like this. I may make my brush a little bit larger like this. Sample from here, take this over to the other side, and now this allows me to make a mirror image. And so I can trace around the tower like this. And just retouch the outline. So this will make it much easier for me. Like this. So I'm not going to do this area, I will do this separately. I can do the same on the other side. So for example, I can start from maybe this side like this, go over to the other side. Maybe I need a slightly smaller brush for this, like this. Click, hold, and go down like this. Like that. Another thing that the clone source panel allows me to do is to have more than one clone sources active. So this is number one. Now I can have number two like this. So for example, now I can retouch this crane like this. And then once again, I can flip, but this time I can flip vertically like this. So when I click to take a sample from here and start painting down, my cursor starts going up. like this. Another thing we can do, because we have two sources, we can actually assign shortcuts to these. For example, if we go to Edit and then Keyboard Shortcuts, and if you go to Panel Menus, and then you go to Clone Source, so we could, just as an example, make our Clone Source 1 Command-Shift-1, for instance, and Source 2 could be Command-Option-1, like this, so that we can quickly swap between the two. Another thing that I can do, if I make my brush a little bit bigger once again, and then I sample from this area, like this, I don't want this flipped anymore. I can go to this area like this. If you press and hold Option and Shift and use the bracket keys, you can actually change the scale of your sample like this. And if you press and hold Option and Shift and then use the comma and full stop, you can rotate the sample like this. To undo these transformations, you click on this icon here. So I think I will just make this a tiny bit smaller, like this. Then I will try to align these like that, like this. Okay, I will click, and now we can make a mask and then take a brush, a small brush, and then painting with black, we can mask off the bits that we don't want. So like this. I will go back to fix. Okay, so if I zoom in, now I paint with white with an even smaller brush like this. Like this. I think this looks good. And to fix this bit, the top of the tower, once again, we can maybe sample from here like this. Click, hold, and drag up like this, just to copy the top of the tower. And we can use the mask to maybe, with the brush, bits of it like this. And then once again, we can use the clone stamp on the other side like this to fix these areas. Like this, and then you would zoom in and then try to do this as precisely as possible. So this is the before and after.